the reason I wrote this play that came to me, Jessica wanted to watch this documentary by the Maysles brothers called Grey Gardens. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's a highly lauded documentary about these two crazy women, a crazy woman and her daughter, who are the cousin and the aunt of Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis, and they end up living in this mansion that's run down and filled with shit and raccoons and cats and whatnot, and they live in poverty, and it was so highly lauded, and yet it's nothing. It's basically there's no structure to it. There's no art to the film. It's just these two crazy women spouting off. And then 30 years later, the outtakes of the film were used to make another film called The Beals, which was the last name of the crazy mother and daughter, The Beals of Grey Gardens. And it was an even worse film because there wasn't any structure that could be brought to it. And I said to myself, this is a perfect example of something where you could have gotten insight into these two women if these Maysles brothers, well, if these women had any depth and these brothers had done anything more than just filming them in this filth. And I said to myself, well, those two sisters that I used, that I knew as a kid and used in true life, would be much better characters. And so that's why this play, as I said, came to me, and I didn't have it sitting around for months. It came to me, and I knew these women. In the true life, what I do sometimes is there's the real life people and situation, and in one iteration of it, say in true life or in the Vincetti brothers or in a play, I'll take 30 or 40%. And then I'll take 40 or 50%, and then I'll take another 40 or 50%. And there's some overlap of the things that I take, but there's things that in toto, if you took all of the iterations of these scenes that get to the real life characters that they're based on, you'd get a fuller picture. And in this play, for example, the intuit is Danny Wagner, because Danny Wagner is seen running bizarre errands. We don't know what errands he's running for the older sister Faith. Presumably, since he mentioned
that ambiguity is so amusing. You have no idea what she's doing. She somehow is involved in Atlas Terminal. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe Faith is controlling some kind of drug ring.
Yeah. But the only thing we do find out that he does to her is he brings her the Book of Mormon. You know.
Of all things, he brings in Book of Mormon, yet she has an association with Atlas Terminal.
Yeah, and so it's kind of bizarre. And for people who don't know, Atlas Terminal / Apex Yards is this area that was this major drug haven and mafia haven. It was an old industrial plant terminal at the end of a railroad where I grew up, and now it's a shopping mall, just like 42nd Street in Manhattan had been a haven for sex traffic, and it's now been Disneyfied. So has this mob haven of drug sales in the 60s and 70s and early 80s now become a mall.